Welcome back. While transitioning from high school to tertiary remains a challenge for many Namibian learners, especially when it comes to applications and funding or even grasping the new funding model. A group of university students have decided to launch an initiative to help bridge that gap. We now speak to the University Affairs Namibia founders who are behind this program. That is Rennie and Cecil. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Nina.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting us.
Well, clearly you guys saw a gap
We did.
and decided to hone on, in on this. And so talk to us about what inspired you to start this initiative, Cecil.
Yeah, so we definitely saw this gap. And as first-year university students, at the time ourselves, my co-founder, Lina, and I experienced application and registration pressure firsthand. And so we know how insufferable and exhausting the entire process is. It's that blind spot between finishing high school and tertiary education that really gets us in our nerves, and it makes us nervous about high school, university. And, you know, it's actually what leads to students actually dropping out and, you know, just feeling that loneliness in university. And so this shared experience inspired us to gather a group of like-minded students in university to really work together and bridge that gap from high school to tertiary education. We didn't want to we didn't want the next generation just to survive. We really wanted them to enter tertiary education with that confidence that, like, okay, yes, everything, all of my documents are ready. I'm ready for the student life because I've seen it firsthand on University Affairs.
And you know what I've realized? Like, obviously with high school, your parents do the registration. And when it's university time, like, okay, guys, you go to UNAM, go to NAS, go and get your things and get the application. And you don't know where to start, so it can really rattle you. The experience of being thrown into the deep end and not knowing what to expect.
Exactly,
So talk to us, Remy, about exactly how this program, helps learners prepare for university life and, the application process.
Our program basically just exposes learners now who are transitioning into students. We basically just expose them to university expectations. We give them study skills, time management, and we expose them to different career paths. Because when you are in school, you're all alone. You choose subjects. Now you want to study this, and then at the end of the year, the subject you took is something you can't even handle throughout the year. So, and then you did not complete it well, or the symbol that you got is not even enough for you to get into the program you wanted. So now when you approach University Affairs, now we are gonna expose you to university expectations, now the different career paths that you can get with your high school requirements and stuff like that. We basically just guide the students, now the learners who are becoming students, we guide them through the application process, including subject requirements, the deadlines, the documentation and stuff like that. Also, when you come to university, we want the students to actually know that this is campus life, because I've seen campus life through University Affairs. The academic culture of your campus. We as University Affairs, it's a huge team. We have people from UCT, we have UNAM students, we have NAS students. So if you want to go to UCT, you already know that my academic culture in UCT is like this, because University Affairs has bridged the gap for me to actually access this information firsthand.
Okay, fantastic. Well, we know, of course, here in Namibia, our government funding options are now sort of a little bit different with a subsidized, education fund. So how are you teaching them about that as well? Because I find that even a lot of learners, or students, I should say, but also some adults, parents also don't understand, what the criteria is to be able to, qualify for the subsidy, etc. So how are you, navigating around that?
Right now, we're just trying to provide clear information, because there are a lot of misconceptions about subsidized education. Some people are saying, oh, it's free education, even if I get accommodation, I'm not paying. Or some parents are even confused. There's no way something is so free if the application fees with thousands of fees later in the day. So now we're just trying to provide clear information on available government funding schemes and stuff like that, the eligibility criteria, what you actually need, the documentation you need to actually, because everyone falls under, there are two things that fall under subsidized education. You have your registration fees and then your non-tuition. But then now there are some people again from disadvantaged backgrounds that need like non-tuition fees. Now this is where NASFAF comes in and provide the non-tuition fees, but yet again you have to qualify for that non-tuition fee.
Yes.
So there are a lot of misconceptions that are going around about the non-tuition fees, especially because the threshold was now recently increased, and people don't know if they're gonna qualify, and some people still think, oh, what's the point of going to university? If I go to university, I have free education, but I can't eat. My family cannot provide the food. So we're just trying to provide clear information that you can come to university. If you're from a disadvantaged house, then non-tuition is going to fund you for other
needs and
other non-tuition needs.
Yeah, and I also think that our marketing team also works tirelessly to provide summarized or simple infographics based on now what was released. For example, we released a recent summarized press statement about what happened at the conference just recently. Or on our TikTok page at University Affairs NA, we also now release videos about, explaining, so this is what happens, these are the requirements, and this is how it goes. And that video actually just recently got 25,000 views, which was insane because it was just released last week. So, it shows that there's really a hunger for this information, for it to be simplified such that these learners can genuinely access it and they can understand it.
Yeah. Well, of course, we know, as you mentioned, NASFAF is also funding learners or, students that apply to be able to get funds for these non-tuition needs, but there's also another criteria for qualifying there. But in general, Cecil, where do you think these funding models, fail learners, especially before leaving school?
Yeah, I think as of right now, the current model fails learners because it assumes that every learner has a support system or that they've had internet connection. Especially now that most of the information based on subsidized education has fully been online. We haven't seen any governments or NASFAF attending schools or visiting communities to explain what goes on with this subsidized model. The non-tuition is now increased. People are just unaware at home. Exactly. And so the government or NASFAF can visit these schools, but it's also in the UA pipeline that we really want to visit schools, especially here in Windhoek where we are based right now. We want to visit a few schools in Windhoek to just generally explain, this is the new model, this is what you need to do to study so that you can qualify for this model. Because many students, many high school students also don't have the support needed, the academic support and academic guidance needed to know that these funding schemes are designed in such a way that you need to score certain marks or requirements so that you can get into this funding schemes and to be funded and to maintain that funding. And so we also strongly advocate for clarity on whether university applications will also be subsidized. I think that's also a very good thing because I understand that, physical applications require printing, but then online applications, we don't really see a need for students to be paying fees for online applications. Mind you, students from marginalized communities, for example, also now have to visit the nearest campus just to apply online, and then they still have to pay that fee. It's generally not adding up. And then for students in marginalized backgrounds, they also aren't aware now of the requirements, the pre-application requirements for example, non-tuition fees. They often learn about these things last minute. And so we see a massive gap in there, as well as in financial literacy. Students get these funds, but they don't know how to maintain them. And also just to maintain the academic requirements, like I said, to keep them. Well,
you mentioned something really interesting there about the information sort of being centralized. And so what are you guys doing to mitigate that and, of course, to bridge that knowledge gap? And how are you reaching rural learners within these rural or disadvantaged communities, Cecil?
So as a growing movement, we are only 6 months old. However, we are really trying to utilize low data digital channels like WhatsApp. With our WhatsApp hub, we have over 1,100 students on these groups. We have 3 central groups.
So the WhatsApp hub is almost full then if
we keep making new groups so that students can access it because it's a low data digital channel. But then also our vision is to print media, and then we can partner with organizations or the government so that we can travel to these marginalized communities during our semester breaks or after our examinations end. We can travel to these areas and have like little application clinics whereby we help them get the necessary documents and just generally help them understand what is going on, what do they need to prepare for university life. But the only thing currently restricting us to the digital space is just a lack of logistical funding. But the heart, the strategy and the passion is there. We are ready to go and assist these learners.
Well, Remy, as Cecil mentioned, UA is about 6 months old.
Yes.
You guys have been, from what I'm hearing, you're doing incredibly well.
Yes.
So talk to us about what the, interest and uptake has been like since you've started UA.
So far, the results of UA have been overwhelming. Just since July 2025, because we started July is a bit late, but we were in operation from like March, but we only became like an official organization in like July, where we actually saw that students are actually hungry for information. Not students, but learners, sorry. They are hungry for information. They need these things. And there's a huge gap between like high school and university. And so now in our first 6 months of operation, we've seen 65%. We've seen a 65% increase in our digital audience.
Wow.
A 65% increase. And our impact assessment shows that over 700 students have successfully submitted their applications, and some of them have navigated like into tertiary applications and registrations, be it funding or be it just securing a spot in your course or so forth. As for funding and other things, we're trying to come up with like innovative ways to actually find sponsors and just to raise funds for our operations, so that even now for the marginalized groups, so we just breach this gap now, because those people, some of them don't even have access to internet connections and stuff like that. So we are trying to find innovative ways to raise funds and just breach this gap.
So what support is it that you need from government to universities to grow this initiative, Cecil?
I think to scale this impact, financial support and just general partnerships would really be beneficial to University Affairs, or as we call it, UA. We actually attempted to print a pre-university guide. It was called the Weight Game magazine, and this guide included things like, okay, how can you change your course? It included student bank accounts from FNB. It included requirements for NASFA for the following year. We attempted to print it, but things like funding, you really just need funding. Even just like $100, just so we can print it, we can take them, okay, let's take them to this school, let's take them to that school. And partnerships such that it doesn't have to always be funding, It can be a partnership whereby with a media company like the Namibian or something, where we can now, we can put a QR code that you can scan so that you can reach our digital magazine, or a partnership with a university such that they can lend us a venue if we want to host like a master class for application guidance or scholarship guidance. So we just need that support, and the government and universities to push UA and to endorse UA as a credible primary bridge for learners moving from high school to tertiary education. Because if we have this recognition, it really transforms us from just now the simple WhatsApp hub community into a credible organization that is that really just understands what these high school learners have gone through and what they're currently going through. Because, the institutions are not fully aware of what is actually going on. There are so many questions about their application sites. There's loopholes, certain things that are so that need work on. That they really do not know about. And so just strategic partnerships and financial assistance would go a long way for UA. So we are very much open for partnerships from anyone in UA.
You'd like to add on?
So far, Hyphen did reach out to us. They are planning on collaborating, and it was actually it was an immense, we actually had to celebrate because we knew we were becoming an actual organization.
Yeah, and we can now finally
being
reach
recognized. Them. Yeah, and we can actually now bridge the gap that we want to bridge. And also, we have an upcoming event, Scholarship Week. It's basically we basically just need scholarship holders, people who already know the struggle of acquiring that support, that financial support. So those people, we wanna basically just get in touch with those people, and then they maybe do a small Instagram takeover where you basically just describe the route you had to take to get your scholarship. Because now these kids already know there's university affairs. The learners already know there's university affairs. So if there's scholarship week with university affairs, so let me go see if there's a scholarship that maybe funds my course.
Right.
Yeah, because now we just need as many scholarship holders as we can get, and then they basically just talk about their scholarships, the route they took. Yeah, because people do not know that there's funding. There are people out there who don't, even now that
that's so true.
Education is subsidized, there are still people that need it. if you acquire a bursary, then big ups. That's really good. So now we just want those people with scholarships and bursaries to just come forward and just, you know, tell the other people, tell the youth now, the people in school now that, oh, this is what I had to do. This is the academic requirements you need. This is the documentation you need to acquire this bursary or the scholarship. And because people do need the funding.
Yeah,
People
for accommodation,
really
transport, and then at the end of that, we hopefully also want to host now an in-person masterclass now where we can have these scholarship providers like NASFA, Bank Window, all these people, they provide bursaries and scholarships to kind of just give an overview to students. What do they require from students? What do they require from learners? Such that when they now start the scholarship season, which is usually towards October, November, the students and learners are aware that, okay, I need to have worked on my grade such that I reach a C symbol, or I needed to get these documents prepared such that I can qualify now for the scholarship. So support in that instance would be like a venue so that we can bridge this scholarship gap as well. It's really now a focus for this 2026 season.
Yeah. Well, give us all your social media handles for somebody that's watching, an organization that's watching, that would like to partner with you guys, from TikTok to Instagram to Facebook
Let's go. Instagram, University Affairs _. That's the same for TikTok as well. You can also find us on LinkedIn if you just search University Affairs Namibia. And then you can email us at universityaffairsna@gmail.com. We will respond in 1 to 2 days. We started school and it's a bit hectic now. But we will respond. Rennie will respond.
I will respond.
Okay.
So yeah, those are our socials.
Fantastic.
Thank you
Well,
so
the
much.
guys are doing great. I think if we have you here by the end of the year, we're going to have a completely different conversation, because you would have grown so much in your organization. So all the best with your future endeavors, and thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you, Nina.
Thank you. We'll be right back after this very brief break. Stay with us. Well, on to some health matters. Finally, this evening, the World Health Organization takes a look into how India, Sri Lanka and Thailand utilize traditional medicines in mainstream health systems.
Our focus is on respecting cultural heritage, advancing research, and fostering innovation in clinical healthcare. From medicines working hand in hand with meditation, to traditional herbs infused with healing, and hospitals embracing ancestral wisdom. When these threads combine, we create a powerful woven story of lives and livelihoods, all in the pursuit of restoring balance. We begin in India.
Nature has an incredible ability to heal. In the rush of city life, I forgot how to breathe.
My name is Satanamo. I am from Ladakh. I was studying in Jammu. There, my life was full of hustle bustle and it was very rush. After pandemic COVID-19, I came back to Ladakh. وصل شنتك تنصبايا إن جاكتي سنباد ما يلي.
The anxiety, the anxiety dunjolo zumo dunjo main ni inna kurama di therapies of no ya. Ane covering era ya I chuma thik rakpa di meditation talks me. Breathing meditation dasa di the meditation korana export yo no pa mati lama na yo no pa mati arum buche meditation export me ro. So is samwajan jabi ya practice chuna era ya. Meditate di ma gela chan. To say. Ani jak chujin mentan. And this thing and thing made hands. Tira. So much you always about you in men's hey.
What you want that young yendo, that tension songs and attach lungs at the corner, lumbo shook church as you can po, then you can let songs the song was on going as TB. Man down says nang tiniang medang just so at I gamdun and medang just nang chitu medang just for the tona dinima galan those.
So Warikpa is part of our community and we must carry it forward alongside modern healthcare.
We often use both modern technology and Sawaripa for diagnosis patient. This integration helps us find more effective solutions.
Ilan nyampo tak sang kong mal chas na tini ngata dang tini electronic na nyampo ngata chi le chandel gala lu dung mal kan bete tan panto yo teno pebo na ngata phwa sung mu kan jig na phoi nang lo ma ka ping se dok kan jig yo na le exili chas te mani ngata phoi na ma ka yo kan pata cha man exili chas te ji pata cha ju ta nyampo te ola tini ngata me tang se man tang se gel kanang nang ko yong si dogs.
It is very important that we safeguard this traditional system of medicines. And I believe we can do this by integrating it with modern healthcare system.
Well, we've come to the end of this evening's show. Join us again tomorrow, 6 p.m. here on NBC One. We'll see you then.